Today I will be showing you wet weather fire lighting. It's been raining, well, for the last 2 days. Had a bit of a sunny spell earlier, but it's since rained again, so everything's sopping wet. The sun's almost out at the moment, so it's not actually raining it at this precise second, so hopefully should have a bit of luck with it today. Okay. The first thing you need is your tinder, because this needs to be kept somewhere dry on your person. Stick it in a pocket close to the body, so that it's ready to use when you've collected all your kindling and fuel wood. Okay, I've just come across a fallen birch tree, which I'm going to collect some of the bark off of and stick in my shirt pocket on the inside of my jacket. And this way, as I say, when you're looking for your kindling and fire the fuel wood, then it can dry out and hopefully be ready to use when you come to light your fire. Okay? Next step is to gather a few sticks about this sort of size and just make a small platform under your shelter where you can keep any extra kindling and fuel wood and things like that, just to keep them off the ground so they're not soaking up any more moisture than they've already got in them, and they're protected from any more rain by your shelter. Okay. The next step is to find your kindling, which will have to be dry standing wood if you can, like dead standing off the ground, dry as a bone, that will catch off of the kindling that you're using, the tinder that you're using, sorry. And here we have a tree that has broken off just there. Well, it's sort of folded over on itself, and as a result most of it has died, as you can see. Obviously a big hint to say that it's dead is the dead leaves on it, but that's not always true, because some leaves, well, most trees, especially in autumn, I mean everyone knows about autumn and the leaves turning brown and whatnot, but some trees will wilt the leaves at different times of the year and will look dead even though they're not dead. And the only way to tell really if it's dead is to try bending it like that, and if it snaps off easy with no pressure, then it's dead. So that's a bit thicker, but the thinner parts, see, they just bend and snap off. So what we need to do is collect some of this sort of size, like matchstick thin, and that we need a good couple of handfuls of those, and that will be our kindling. Now once you've collected a good sized bundle like that, so that it fits inside your hands when you touch your fingertips and your thumb tips together, obviously the more you've got of this the better, because you may want to stock up on it just in case your fire goes out at any point and you need to keep going, or it starts raining and somehow you haven't protected your fire and it gets rained on again, so you have to start all over again. But for now, to get the fire started, basically this will do. Okay, Once you've got that, go back to your shelter, which is just over there, and put that on top of the little platform you made to keep it dry and off the ground, and that'll leave your hands free to go and collect your fuel wood and progressively sized sticks. Okay. Now the next stage is to find progressively larger and larger fuel wood to put on once the kindling is caught, just to build up the fire, because the heat from the kindling will light the slightly larger stuff, and the heat from the slightly larger stuff will light the even larger stuff, until eventually you can get up to sort of like 6-inch logs if you have to. I'm not going to go this far because I don't need to use the fire for cooking, it's just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so again, dead standing. Now this, obviously, well, this one is dead definitely, but it's going to take a little bit more pressure to snap it. So I mean, sometimes you'll need a saw or a knife. As you can see, and to tell it's dead and perfect fire lighting, there is no green at all inside that bit. Once you've snapped it off, there's no green, not even where the bark meets the inner. It's all brown or light brownish beige colour. Okay, so we need to collect a few more of those, and general rule of thumb for a large fire is to fill the, like, to put your hand on your hip, like touch your fingertips on your hip and fill the gap between your arm with it. But I don't need to make a large fire, but I just need to show you that it will catch from this. Okay, so I'll collect a few more of these, and these need to be about anywhere from the size of your little finger in diameter, well, nearly up to sort of thumb size really. Okay, I'll just collect a few, and once you've gathered this, that can go on the platform next to the kindling we've just gathered. So here is our little pile on the platform. We've got the kindling on the front and the beginnings of the fuel wood just behind it. And the birch bark is still in my shirt pocket, keeping dry, and well, drying out and staying dry, and it gets it that little bit warmer as well. I'll go into that more in detail on another video at some point. And now what we need to do, that we've gathered this much, is we need to make another base, well, clear a space just outside of the shelter, so that it doesn't set fire to the tarp or the poncho or whatever you've got set up. Clear the space, and the rule of thumb that I go by is however large the base of the fire is, take that and add it on all the way round and clear a space that size. So if you've got a 1 foot fire, it'll be 3 foot wide, if that makes sense, and that way it reduces the chance of setting fire to anything else. Now once you've cleared your area, you need to make another platform out of dead standing dried timbers. For this I've got some very thick old dead bramble, which should do the trick. Just make another platform on the ground in the centre of your cleared area, and this will keep the base of the fire off of any damp ground that's still laying about, and it'll stop the heat being sucked out by the ground underneath. Like so, and that'll be enough for us to start with. Just build the fire up on top of that. Now the next stage is to take your kindling. It's probably easier to split it into 2 pieces, so like so. So you've got 2 bundles, and I'll do it facing the camera so it's easier for you to see. Is lay one on diagonally like so, and the other one across it, so you've got like a little gap underneath it, like so. and this will give you somewhere to place your birch bark once it's lit. Just poke it in there and it will catch the kindling on top there. And obviously with kindling, don't have it packed super tight. It needs to have air circulating between the pieces so that the heat can pass up through it and provide heat to the whole bundle of kindling. Okay. Next, we need the birch bark that we collected earlier, which is now pretty dry. Apart from the insides, I'll just show you up close. I mean, it's still a little bit shiny where it's slightly damp, but generally it's pretty dry stuff, as you can probably hear. Okay. And what we need to do is with this is scrape up the surface so it's a light fluffy texture, and use a knife for that. And what I'll do is I'll do it on a small piece, and then we lay the small piece on top of the larger piece. Then we strike the spark onto it, and then that will give us enough time to place, while the top one's burning, that will give us enough time to place it under our little nest. Okay, and I'll do that now. I'll put that on my knee so you can see it. Take your knife out. There we go, that little pile of dust there. See if I can. And that's the bit that takes the spark and turns it into another flame. And gather that onto another piece. As you can see, it's quite thin, this piece that this piece of bark, so it's breaking up slightly as I'm scraping. So I don't want to lose all of it. So it doesn't take a lot of time. Just keep working at it slowly. Like so. And once you finish with your knife, always put it back in the sheath on your belt, or nearby, wherever you happen to have your sheath, or around your neck if you have a neck sheath. And gently place that on top there. That's a mark against the Web-Tex steel of fire anyway. Just come out of its holder. I should persevere though. won't, because it won't work. Now when the flames come through the top of the kindling, you can begin adding some of the fuel wood. I'll just move the camera underneath the shelter as it is raining. It took a bit of perseverance, but I think we got there in the end. And there we go, start to a successful fire. Alright, well, she's going quite well now, and just to prove to you that it is raining, you can see the rain settling on the poncho there, even though it's still fairly bright. But going well, successful mission. Well, the fire's nearly burnt out now, so what I like to do is get a digging stick. Now this one's one that was on the base for the fire, so it's slightly burnt at the end, and dig into the ground pretty close to your fire, then gather up the soil. so that once the fire's completely burnt out, you can shift the embers into the hole and soak them with water first and then shift them into the hole. And it's a good idea to use your hands, because you'll know that it's cool enough to leave then. It's not going to damage anything. If it doesn't damage your hands, it's not going to set fire to a piece of wood. And all of the leaf litter around here is sopping wet anyway, where it's been raining, so I don't think we're going to have too much trouble with that. And obviously once it's in the hole, cover it over with the soil that came from the hole, pack it down with your foot, and that'll smother it from any oxygen, any extra oxygen, just in case you've missed an ember or something like that, and it won't reignite under the ground then. And the soil's fairly moist at the moment, so that should help smother it down a bit more as well. And only when you're 100% sure that it's completely out, there's no risk of fire, can you cover it back over with the leaf litter and carry on your trip, leaving no trace of your presence. Okay. And there you go. No trace of fire at all. There we go. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.